whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is Channel Gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. I'm attorney Gavin Richard. I grew up here in New Orleans, so I know how important family, friends, and community are to us. And helping others has been a lifelong passion of mine. If you've been injured in an accident, you may be out of work and faced with large medical bills. You'll need someone to fight the insurance companies so that you can get on with your life. Give me a call at 504-799-2288, and I'll be with you all the way. The law offices of Gavin M. Richard, going the distance so that justice may be served. Hi, I'm attorney Gavin M. Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jell-O, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format. That is the Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen, for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., the latest book presented by yours truly, Gavin Richard presents. Darius with the jokes always. Andrea Constantine, aka Lurch. My gosh, I call her Carrot Top's baby. Carrot Top and Howard Stern's baby there. If they had a love child. But that's the Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like button so that you get the latest details on when the book will be available and when it'll come out. And I'm, shout out to Nicole because Nicole just was actually texting me. She actually did a live stream earlier today and had a preview of a review on her channel about the Cosby doc or mockumentary. So I plan to do my own review of that and release it this week. It'll be released though on Patreon. I want everybody to go to the Patreon and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Subscribe to the Patreon because I'm trying to get do more videos actually on Patreon and get them uploaded, of course. And it would be a privilege if you all could do that. So, without further ado, she's the gooch. That's, yeah, man. Good evening, MJ's Girl 85. Yes, I did get your email, dear. Thank you. She MJ Girl 85, of course, just by the title, she's Michael Jackson fan. She hit me up because she's an admirer of Tom Mesro. And by the way, I did MJ Girl, I did meet and speak with Tom, and he will be coming back on the show again soon. So that's a good applause. So if you have questions you want to ask him directly, you can put it in the chat. The Gooch from Different Strokes, yeah. All right. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I'd also ask if you can't, if you would like to also contribute, go to the Cash App, Google Pay, or PayPal to give money to support us because my channel, just like many new Black media channels, are not monetized because we don't fit YouTube's policies or their algorithm, and so they mess up with our algorithms. Further ado, let's go to the topics for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. If you right here is the place to be here with me on Channel Gboot2786 on Facebook at Gavin Richard and on Gavin Richard Backup YouTube channel. This is and Twitter via Periscope Gavin Rich 2786. This is Random Topic Sundays, and we will be discussing the following: Black Lives Matter reportedly gave millions of dollars to Canadian charity to purchase a mansion. Janet Jackson's documentary airs the highs and the lows, and Freedom of Information request reveals John Bel Edwards allegedly knew more about police killing. All this and more, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you can. Also, I want to just do a few plugins if we can do that right now, as we do always. I need you to go to our website, NorniesCreoleBlends.com. That's NorniesCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nornies goes great with every dish. That is correct. That's the home for our seasoning. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to purchase some, I've had a few people purchase it, and they say it is the bomb burgers, as what Tariq Nasheed would say. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get into that, Darius. Trust me. That's not gonna be our first topic, but we will get into that. So you hit that shopping cart right there, and you go to continue shopping, and you can order you some seasoning. We're just getting started, and I'd appreciate any business that you all could give. The next thing we want to do, also, ladies and gentlemen, is talk about our songs that we have, including and not limited to Video Soul. Video Soul, of course, is one of my latest songs under my moniker, my artist name G Rich, which is an instrumental. I think you all will love that. So please go ahead and check that out. Video Soul is still available on Spotify. You can also purchase it on Amazon and Apple if you have Apple Music there. And last but not least, of course, the theme song for the show is Gotta Get On Up. So without further ado, before we get on down, let's get on up, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and we'll be right back.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
And move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Baby, yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up. Baby,
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents. Merci, I see Butterflies was dancing all in the chat. She was actually doing jumping jacks. It looks like handstands. I don't even know what the hell that is. The robot leg. I don't know how you do that. But Darius was obviously dancing too. What's up, everybody? What's up? Thank you. Mercy. Love you all. How you doing? Give me a big thumbs up if you're doing all right. Welcome on this championship football game Sunday. I hope you all are doing great. I take it you are, especially if you're here with me. And that this is the place to be. The place to be right here with me. It is Random Topic Sundays, ladies and gentlemen, only on Channel Gboot2786. And I'm trying to do this before, obviously, the other NFC Championship game is on.
I was waiting to see the AFC Championship game. So the Bungles are now your AFC, or the Bengals as they call it, the Who Dey. They say Who Dey are now your AFC champions of the NFL, AFC champions of the NFL. And right now you have San Francisco playing the Rams on Fox. So earlier the Chiefs lost to the Bengals. They played at about 2 o'clock. And now the Rams are playing and the 49ers, who happen to be rivals, by the way. Now, what's interesting, and y'all know last time I did a live stream, I talked about the NFL and what I thought about it, but I just wanted to bring this point out. If the San Francisco 49ers so happen to beat the Los Angeles Rams, they will face the Bengals in the Super Bowl, which would mean that for every time the Cincinnati Bengals have been in the Super Bowl back in the 80s, the 1981 season, which was played in 1982 in Detroit at that Super Bowl, and then the second Super Bowl they were in, I believe, was in Miami with it was against the 49ers. All of their Super Bowls have been against the 49ers. And if you look at the Los Angeles Rams, this stadium, I'm going to just play a clip from the NFL game right now. Just curious, look at this. Now, it's about to come on. It's on a commercial, and y'all see I got it muted. But there are, let me rewind it a little bit because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but there are, I just want to show you this. If you look at the stadium, yeah, go pay your taxes with TurboTax. If you look at the stadium, look how many 49ers fans are at SoFi Stadium. Look at all the red. Y'all see that? The Los Angeles Rams, there's damn near, at least, it's got to be at least 60% in SoFi Stadium, in that dome out in Inglewood. There are more 49ers fans than there are Rams fans. And my knowledge is that they have had a hard time trying to get that fan base up in Los Angeles. Hence what happened with that Super Bowl a few years ago in 2018, that NFC championship between the Rams and the Saints, and what happened in that game. So right now, I'm just trying to see what the score is. So the Rams got the ball back because last I saw, it was intercepted, I think. And yeah, he's out. So I don't want to play all of it because they'll give me a copyright strike, but fair use, fair use. I was just trying to see wanted to show you all just the scene from that. So it's nobody has scored yet. No, the Rams have no solid fan base. Yeah, SoFi Stadium. What's up, Torian Rain? What's up, Torian? How you doing? Yeah, they have their fan base. Los Angeles is not really a football. I shouldn't say it's not a football city, but it really isn't. You know, I remember when the Oakland Raiders were in Los Angeles for a number of years. They got tired and then they moved back to Oakland. I remember when they had the Rams, even before that, the Rams moved to St. Louis. They couldn't get the fan base that they wanted, even though it's a big city, because LA typically, and look, they got the LA Chargers now. Los Angeles Chargers have moved out there. They're trying to get, well, that's why they're trying to get the Rams to get a Super Bowl. Yes, that's correct. They were the first before. The Rams were the first, but the Chargers were in San Diego. The Raiders were in Oakland. So now I'm looking at it. It looks like the 49ers have scored. So it's now 7-0. But I thought that was interesting just to look at it because I was watching the highlights here on TV, and I was just curious to see what was going on. And so I see that they are not doing that good. You supported the Rams, okay? Well, enough with the football talk, but yeah, but the Bengals won earlier today. Uh, I hope that brother Eric Bieniemy, gets a job in the NFL as a head coach. He deserves it. 4 NFC title appearances, 2 Super Bowl appearances. He's won one with Patrick Mahomes, and he's from New Orleans, so New Orleans, you ought to be looking at him. But let's go ahead and get started, guys. And earlier today, they actually had our first parade here in New Orleans, Mardi Gras parade. They had the crew of Nefertiti. I didn't actually go, even though it was like right outside, not far from where I was. I just was busy doing crap, doing stuff. Hit that like button, yeah, Boss Queenie. So we're gonna go ahead and get started because it's already 6:17. So I want to talk about this. I guess I can start with this one. So I read this earlier. It's being reported that Black Lives Matter, BLM, reportedly gave millions of dollars to a Canadian charity in order to purchase a mansion. Now, this is coming, of course, from Yahoo News via, you will see the logo right here, via Fox News. Of course, I'm not a fan of Fox, but they reported that Black Lives Matter moved millions of dollars to a charity in Canada run by the wife of the co-founder, Patrice Colliers, to purchase a mansion that used to be the headquarters of the Communist Party of Canada, according to public records that were reviewed by the New York Post. It says here that M4BJ, which is a nonprofit, I got it, M4BJ, I don't know what that means. It's a nonprofit based in Toronto that was set up by Danae Khan, who bought the $10,000 square foot mansion for $6.3 million in July of 2021. Khan is the wife of Con Colliers, a self-professed Marxist who helped found Black Lives Matter Global Foundation Network. Last year, Con Colliers resigned from the organization. This woman is always buying some damn homes. Shit, Black Homes Matter now. She moved on from Black Lives Matter to Black Homes Matter. Black Mansions Matter. So there was an investigation that revealed she spent $3.2 million on homes in Georgia and Los Angeles. She denied that the homes were purchased with donations to BLM. The purchase of this mansion in Toronto, which is also called Wild Seed Center for Art and Activism, drew criticism from within the organization. For BLM Canada to take money from BLM Global Network for a building without consulting the community was unethical. Canadian BLM activist Sarah Jama and Sahara Sudi recently said. For BLM Canada to refuse to answer questions from young Black organizers goes against the spirit of movement building. Well, they are for building, all right, but not a movement. They're for that building on the block. Location, 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 as we say in real estate. Of course she does. What they do is they purchase it under the guise of, under certain labels, under a trust or so forth. And that's a way of them, even though they run the trust, that's a way for them to get around paying certain property taxes and so forth, or get away from having a government look at their records. We know what the game is. Of course they do that. Now, it's a real estate investment firm. Yes, BLM has turned into, Black Lovely Mansions. So we went from Black Lives Matter to Black Lovely Mansions, USA. Well, her wife, Torian, if I'm not mistaken, is white. She's not Black. So Patrice Colliers, she stepped down because she was buying all of those homes. You look at the women of the BLM, they are Marxists, they are They are, far left. And look, I know people on the far left. You know, people think when you're on the far left, that's good. You're doing great things. But let me tell you something. Those Marxists and communists, you cannot be found of. They are not your friends. Malcolm even warned about the liberals. A white liberal is worse sometimes than a white conservative. This is Janaea Khan. Sounds like she's from. No, Janaea Khan. Okay, she is from Canada. Okay, so yeah, she's from Canada. So this is her here. So yeah, I'm wrong. But one of the founders, I believe, who's also lesbian, is married to a white woman. I know that for a fact. So it's not Patrice. I believe it's a. But this is her. Yeah, this is her wife. So this is her here. This is okay. She's okay. So she's she's Trinidadian, and her mother is British Jamaican. So that's her here. And so we know who the male is in the relationship. You know, what is all. See, this is where I get lost with is that she's mixed, Dorian. I wouldn't say. See, a lot of these people, they're black in name only, or they're black when I want to be. And these organizations, while we've talked about BLM, and that's have they push, and we pointed this out earlier, an agenda in which to get the American people and to get people feel uh, to feel sympathetic to their cause. Yes, they're all. Well, shit. She's married to a woman, and they're all part of that crowd, Darius. You know, if you looked at BLM's charter, what they believed and what they stood for, they laid it out very clearly. What they stated when they talked about how they believed that didn't believe in a patriarchal society and that men should not be leadings of homes and children are free to think. Whoa, when they talked about children free to in an open society to make their own decisions. Now I'm paraphrasing, but we talked about this and remember they got criticized back in 2020 about it because Judge Joe Brown laid it out. I went to some of the, I showed you all pictures of the rally that I went to out in St. Bernard about someone, a brother that was killed in police custody. And I saw signs of people holding Black Trans Matter. I saw a good number of whites that were out there. They say they're against the nuclear family. They say they're against, they're against heterosexuality. So they're getting exposed for this stuff. And she had to step down because of what it stood for. So back in 2021, Collier's resigned from her role as the executive director of BLM Global Network Foundation to focus on her second book and a multi-year TV deal with Warner Bros. Now stop right there. Who gets a TV deal for their activism for working with Warner Brothers? Now, I'm not saying you can't multitask and do different things, of course, but there are a lot of people. Just look at that. There are a lot of young black screenwriters, I should say, uh, a lot of amateur screenwriters, people want to be in Hollywood, actors, producers who want to get their films and get noticed in Hollywood, and cannot get the deals that a Patrice Colliers could get. But she's getting a deal. She's got a multi-year TV deal with Warner Brothers. And she stepped down in 2021, but she got caught, remember, and had to step down because they were buying all those homes in Georgia and California, multi-million-dollar homes. And the article from the BBC that you see here, as I'm looking at it, even talked about it. And how Facebook, look at this, now Facebook banned any user from sharing the story because even though it was reported by the New York Post, they reported it and users were banned from sharing a story from what is supposed to be a respected news website. So that tells you this role that Facebook plays too, just like YouTube. She received $120,000 between 2013 and 2019 for her work, according to in April from what the foundation, and I don't know who the foundation is, but I'm looking at, I guess that is Black Lives Matters Foundation, $120,000. So from 2013 to 2019, that's 6 years. You're saying she made, we divide six, $20,000. And yet she gets a multi-TV deal. She has, how is he able to buy homes in Georgia, a ranch in Georgia and in California? She had a $1.4 million home near Malibu and owned 3 other homes. Now, yeah, I remember talking about this. I believe she had other jobs and so forth, but damn all that. That's a lot even for that's a lot even for a celebrity to have. 4 or 5 homes. Celebrities may have 2 or 3 homes total, but 4 different homes. Damn. Now she hasn't been charged with anything, so I'm very careful with my words. Uh, but all of this, and this is why I got out of supporting BLM. This is why I got out of supporting Black Lives Matter, because I know that it's just a front for LGBTQ. It's a front for Marxism and communism. And again, I can't reiterate this any further, that it will run us through the ground, even more, just as Nazism, just as racism and capitalism could. Some of these Marxists are even worse. These communists are worse. If you look at history and what they did in different countries, how they took over, forced you to think and believe in their class system, even if they don't believe in God, they want to be an atheist society. They forced that on their people. You couldn't practice certain religious beliefs. Now, also look at this. They refused to even meet with Donald Trump, saying it would have been like meeting with Hitler. Now, he's the president of the United States, but you don't want to meet with the president? You would meet with Joe Biden? With his racist rhetoric? Exactly, Darius. You can support the term Black Lives Matter, but as an organization, something we don't own, they are not for us at all. I'm sorry, y'all can't read that, but yeah, but I'm still tripping on a multi-year deal. That's just like Tamika Mallory that got that commercial with Cadillac when that came out last year, and she got hammered for that. And yes, Tamir Rice's mama did call out BLM for this, rightfully so. She told them, "Stop hustling Black Death." Samaria Rice. She called out Sean King. She called a lot of people who profiting off the debt of Black men. Yeah, telling activists to stop profiting off of her son's death. Absolutely. Now, this is when Essence Magazine actually meant something. It doesn't mean anything anymore, just like Ebony. But this was, yeah, very interesting. So I was glad she spoke out and called them out on this. But shout out to Mother Samaria Rice. But yeah, BLM, this is some bullshit. Martin Luther Greene, I call him Malcolm X. Yeah, he did too. I believe he did. I think he did. I can't remember exactly what he said. But yes, he did call them out. Okay, so here it is here. Michael Brown Sr. called them out. What has the $90 million in funds been used for? Well, apparently purchasing homes, buying up mansions. I got a beach house in Miami. Wake up with no damage. Love to tell for dinner. Oh, Julio served that scampi. You got it if you want it. Got it if you want it. Take my wallet if you want it. Take my wallet if you want it. Now jump in a Cadillac. Let's put some miles on. I got a ranch in Georgia too. Me and a big house in Malibu. I got it here. You got it. Come on, come up with lyrics for me. I got a ranch in Georgia Pine, house in Malibu too. Give me, hold you. You found it through the YouTube. You got it if you want it. Got it if you want it. Got my funds if you want it. From your sons if you're talking about dip in a Cadillac. All right, man. But yeah, yeah, they need to be investigated into this. Don't give them your money. If you do, please stop supporting them. All right. So next we have this. I guess I could start with I want to start with this first. But I want to talk about the last topic later since that's a little light. But this FOI request, and FOI is not Fruit of Islam, for the record. It is a Freedom of Information request that was reveals Governor John Bel Edwards, governor of my hometown, a home state rather, Louisiana, allegedly knew more about the police killing. Now, the police killing, of course, for those that may not know, involves a brother named Ronald Greene. Ronald Greene was a brother from Monroe, Louisiana. That was, and this incident happened out in Monroe, Louisiana, where he was killed by police officers. Now, that's up in Monroe. Well, it wasn't Monroe police officers, but it was Louisiana State Police. But this happened in Monroe, Louisiana. Monroe is Ouachita Parish, and also I believe it was around there, and Union Parish as well. That's right. They border each other, but Monroe, Louisiana is where Mr. Greene is from, if I'm understand correctly. And so the mother of Ronald Greene is calling on John Bel Edwards to resign and face criminal charges. Now, I'm going to play the video, but what happened, of course, for those that don't remember, Greene was killed. This is Ronald Greene. This story made national news. I'm sorry if it is graphic. It's nothing to laugh about, which I'm not. But Ronald Greene died in police custody in 2019 after a chase that began in Ouachita Parish, and Louisiana State Police was involved in that. But video of the body camera footage, which was not released at the time, showed that Mr. Greene was violently beaten, dragged, and tased during a traffic stop. Now, he did flee the scene prior to the crash during the chase, but afterwards is what happened and what got the family and everyone else upset. In particular, the state police lied about what happened. And what's even interesting is that the state police, the state trooper who was involved in this, actually, and this is the lawsuit, here. One of the trooper that was involved in the killing actually committed suicide. They gave him a state burial. Now, I'm gonna play the. Now, this is the video from that.
He's better than me. He's better than me. Let me see your hands.
Now, I'm not gonna play all. I played this before, so I don't really want to play anymore. But that was the video from it, and you can see that they tased the man.
Could harm the investigation, but the family's attorney says is a step toward justice.
Is necessary for the community.
Okay, so.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
Video of a local black man tased, dragged, and beaten during a traffic stop in Union Parish is sparking outrage. Good evening. I'm Jeff Horchak.
And I'm Jennifer Andrews. Ronald Greene died in police custody in 2019 after a chase that began in Ouachita Parish. Louisiana State Police say the video was leaked and could compromise the case. But as Jasmine Anderson reports, family members say it's a chance for justice.
This leaked video shows a subdued West Monroe man pinned to the ground by Louisiana State Police. He later died in their custody.
Put your hands behind your back.
You can hear the officers command Ronald Greene to comply with an order. The crackling sound of a stun gun. Greene screams.
They obviously had no real interest in this video ever coming out publicly. But transparency is necessary for the community.
This is the first time the public is witnessing what happened during Greene's arrest. After a high-speed chase from Ouachita to Union Parish in May 2019.
Mr. Greene was to some degree, even though he just finished leading police officers on a lengthy and high-speed chase, his inclination at that particular point was to acquiesce to what the officer.
Use of force expert Andrew Scott says the troopers involved violated police training protocol multiple times.
Under no circumstances should Mr. Greene have been drugged by his ankle shackles. That was malicious, sadistic, completely unnecessary. And the officer that did it's going to have to be held accountable.
Greene's family filed this wrongful death lawsuit seeking $5 million to hold state police accountable. The document says members of LSP administration and seven troopers on the scene caused Greene's death and then tried to hide it by concealing the video. It further states they initially said he died after crashing into a tree.
I believe that there are issues of structural racism that are rampant in American policing.
Louisiana ACLU's executive director says instances of police brutality must be challenged in court. She says establishing a precedent is important because it helps hold officers accountable, especially when officers have qualified immunity, which is a legal doctrine that keeps them safe from civil lawsuits.
And it also looks like challenging qualified immunity. And that means we've got to build up the amount of the case law. So that clearly established law is broad, so that when additional cases are brought, the court can look back to the clearly established law and say, yes, there is a case that's very similar to this, therefore case can proceed.
The LSP says it is confident in the judicial system and fair review of this incident and continues to offer its full cooperation. They also say the leaked video could harm the investigation, but the family's attorney says it's a step toward justice.
First real chance in 2 years that the Greene family gets a fair shot at the community making a proper evaluation as to whether or not this is the kind of policing that we've come to expect.
Merritt says this is the chance for the U.S. Department of Justice to make arrests and hopes regional grand jurors will hand down indictments soon.
Okay. I want to, first off, if I get something wrong, a fact wrong, I always like to clarify and go on the record and say I did that. So I believe I made an error in naming the deputy that killed himself. That deputy, that was a different issue. So let me just say I stand corrected. The state trooper who shot himself dead during a police raid on his home months after he made headlines for sending a racist slur to a black colleague. So I believe this was that was a different incident. So let me clarify that. Travis McKay was Trooper August McKay, rather. That was from a separate incident that happened around December of 2020. So I like to just if I get something wrong, I just like to clarify that so that way I don't say the wrong thing and facts go out, because you all rely on us to give accurate information. So what I did notice, hold on a second. Okay, so what really did happen, and this is the clarification that I had. The trooper so this is it here. This is what I meant to say. This is the report here from the scanner. You can look here, so that way I'm not saying the wrong thing. But the trooper that was involved in the crash, in what they call Ronald Greene's crash, it wasn't a crash. And I'm sorry, I didn't know that. That's Ronald Greene's image that they shared there. That's his body. I didn't know that was going to come up, but that's Ronald Greene. And Chris Collinsworth, who was the master trooper, he was involved with the Ronald Greene chase. He was involved in all of that, Ronald Greene's death. And hours before, so that's who it was I was referring to. Hollingsworth had received word that state police intended to terminate him following an internal investigation into the May 2019 death of Ronald Greene, a case that has drawn mounting scrutiny and became the subject of a federal civil rights investigation. Authorities initially said Greene died after crashing his vehicle into a tree following a high-speed chase in rural northern Louisiana that began over an unspecified traffic violation. But Greene's family alleges troopers used excessive force and brutalized him while taking him into custody. Greene's family called for the immediate arrest of the remaining men responsible for this tragic and unnecessary death. Trooper Hollingsworth's family has the finality of knowing exactly how he died as their community mourns his loss, said Lee Merritt. Lee Merritt representing the family. The family of Ronald Greene, however, is still being denied the same finality by the state of Louisiana. So that is a picture of Ronald Greene laying dead. Now, I wasn't going to show that. And I actually have, you all know my friend Ron Haley, who's been a guest on the show. He also is involved in this case. Now, how it relates to Governor John Bel Edwards. Well, let's play this video. Put the copyright disclaimer up for me, please. Of course, all videos and clips that you have seen have been used to for commentary, news, and educational purposes only. It constitutes as fair use under the Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. So this is from KNOE, which is out in Monroe, Louisiana. And this is about John Bel Edwards.
Well, the mother of Ronald Greene is calling on Governor John Bel Edwards to resign and face criminal charges. Good evening to you. I'm Jennifer Andrews. All this coming after the Associated Press reported that Edwards knew details of Greene's in-custody death hours after it happened. Tyler Englander spoke to his mother today. I understand it was a very emotional conversation, Tyler.
Jennifer, it was. Mona Hardin told me every time new information is revealed about the incident, it's like peeling back the layers of a cover-up.
The leader of Louisiana chose his career over doing the right thing, over murder of a man.
No, I'm scared. I'm your brother. I'm scared.
Just 9 hours after Ronald Greene was killed in Louisiana State Police custody in May of 2019, Governor John Bel Edwards received a text from then State Police Superintendent Kevin Reeves. It read in part, Greene died after a violent, lengthy struggle. Edwards responded, "Thank you."
The struggle is a living nightmare. And it seems like don't nobody give a damn about what they're putting our families through.
The governor previously stated he first learned of the incident in 2020. In addition, Edwards kept quiet while state police characterized Greene's death as resulting from a car accident. An FBI autopsy disputed that claim.
How deceitful can someone in such a high office lie at such a level?
The AP also claims House Speaker Clay Shakespeare was considering opening a legislative inquiry, but Edwards told him there was no need because Greene died in a wreck.
Doesn't this make everyone an accessory to the fact? Everyone's got their hand in this, but no one's been held accountable.
Hardin says it's time for Governor Edwards to do what's right. When I asked her to clarify, is that resigning? Is that, again, is that criminal charges, you think?
Arrest, jail time. We're talking about the murder of a man. We're talking about a murder of a man. The right thing means all of the above.
Now, the Department of Justice is investigating the incident. We reached out to the governor's office for comment, but haven't heard back.
So what that means, ladies and gentlemen, according to the reports that was released, there was a Freedom of Information Request Act. They seized Governor Edwards's text messages, requests for what he knew regarding Ronald Greene death. Now, Ronald was only 49 years old at the time of his death, and he was stunned, he was punched, he was placed in a chokehold. So I have more footage here. This is coming from WAFB, which is out in Baton Rouge. He kept quiet about this situation. He knew there was a struggle. And he kept silent on it because during that time, he was in a lengthy He was in a lengthy campaign battle for governor against the Republican candidate. So if John Bel Edwards didn't know, and I'm looking at these text messages, and it seems like he did know more than what he didn't know at that time, then he needs to step down. And yes, if it is true that he knew about this information and he helped cover it up, he very well could face charges for being an accessory after the fact. He needs to resign. Look, he stepped down or said that it was right that that your former judge out in Lafayette, the white judge that got caught saying nigger over the phone, Odinate, he said she should do the right thing and step down. And if he knew that this was, and of course, when you look at the text messages and so forth, he may not have known exactly this, may have not known the facts and circumstances initially as to what happened. Like, do I know every detail because I wasn't there? No, but if you got a state police officer saying he died in an accident, you knew he didn't die in an accident. He knew that the man did not die, obviously, in a traffic accident. When you look at, I'll just pull up the screenshot of this text message. I believe this is from the governor's phone. So it says here from Kevin. Kevin Reeves is the superintendent of the state police. He texted the judge, the governor, at 10 o'clock in the morning. And it says, earlier this morning, troopers attempted to stop a vehicle in Ouachita Parish. The driver fled through 2 parishes in excess of 110 miles per hour, eventually crashing. Troopers attempted to place the driver under arrest, but a violent, lengthy struggle took place. After some time struggling with the suspect, troopers were joined by a Union Parish deputy and were able to take the suspect into custody. EMS was summoned to assess the suspect's injuries. The suspect remained combative, but became unresponsive shortly before EMS arrived. The suspect was later pronounced dead at the hospital. We are investigating the suspect's death. Thank you. So I'm going off of this. So he knew. He had to have known.
Any of you have seen your son being killed on such a level?
That is Ronald Greene's mother.
On such a horrific level. You would not know the feeling.
Unemotional plea for the mother of Ronald Greene. Good evening to you. I'm Jennifer Andrews. Mona Hardy shared her story after her son died in state custody following a chase that began in Monroe back in 2019. Now, her comments come during a hearing to make state police reforms. Tyler Englander joins us now. Tyler, I understand it was a very somber day.
Well, this is old. Okay, I'm not going to play that. That's old. But this is the...
Died from restraint, inflicted head injury.
Showing the death, you hear one trooper Chris Greene, and at several moments, some officers can be seen muting their mics.
Come on. These bastards know what they were doing.
At one point following the encounter, officers began talking in small groups. Here, you hear one officer admit Greene is not in good shape.
Suspect? Not good. Oh, really? Yeah. Like, what you mean not good? Like maybe 10-7. Like right now? You wouldn't really want to go to the ambulance.
And here, Trooper Chris Hollingsworth can be heard on a call with a fellow officer. In his own words, he describes his encounter with Greene.
And I beat the ever-living out of him. Choked him and everything else trying to get him under control. Yeah, I thought he was dead.
When the other officer asks Hollingsworth if it was caught on body camera,
this happens.
Y'all got it on body cam.
Initially, state police said Greene died after crashing his car at the end of a high-speed chase. But this video that they've now made public shows that's not true.
How does something like that exist for so long within?
Initially, state police said Greene died after crashing his car at the end of a high-speed chase. But this video that they've now made public shows that's not true.
How does something like that exist for so long within state police, and how do you regain the public's trust? Because the video doesn't seem to support that.
Well, obviously I wasn't involved in the initial investigation, so I can't speak to what was said initially. We gained the public's trust by being transparent.
The colonel admits some of the context of what happened in the early days of the investigation may be hard to come by because some of those who were involved are no longer with state police.
Some of those folks are now retired, so they're not compelled to speak with me about that. But for those reasons that I do not have full context of what occurred in those days.
The colonel did say they're making changes within the agency, starting with new leadership within Troop F and reworking some of their policies for all troopers.
They have my support. But likewise, when they do not abide by those policies and those procedures, then I'm going to hold them accountable.
Perhaps one of the most notable outcomes, though, the colonel choosing to offer his condolences to Ronald Greene's family 2 years after he died in their custody.
I can feel their pain, and I feel it in my heart. So my heart goes out to them. I continue to lift them up in prayer and pray for them every day.
Now, the colonel mentioned 3 troopers by name in all of this. Trooper Chris Hollingsworth died in a car crash not long after getting a letter saying he would be terminated from state police. Trooper Dakota DeMoss has been arrested for a separate use of force case, and another trooper, Corey York, was hit with a 50-hour suspension and is back on the force tonight. Guys.
All right. Scotty Hunter for us, thank you. In a statement tonight, the governor says he strongly supports LSP's decision to release the videos to the public, adding that Greene's family had a chance to watch the videos, which he called disturbing and difficult to watch, in October of last year. By the way, a deadline for lawmakers wanting police reform is looming on Capitol Hill. We'll hear from Louisiana lawmakers on the
So they were all in on it. And the governor met with the family. He met with the family to watch these videos. And now it's coming out. He knew more than what he should have, than what he previously disclosed, based off the text messages. All because at that time he was campaigning. And let me say this. Yeah, you can be campaigning and so forth, but you still have a duty, especially as the governor and leader of this state, to follow and abide by the laws of our state. And what was more damning is the fact, from my knowledge and looking at it, is that when they gave this police report that Ronald Greene was killed by a car accident, they obviously did this under the guy. They did this on a police report that they made an oath to. They gave false testimony stating that he died in a car accident, knowing he didn't, knowing their role in it, and he didn't stop them. And that was the main problem that I got from this, is that as the governor, he did not stop what was going on. The governor, he did not stop what was going on. He should have. No, they're not going to do a damn thing about police reform. So what say you all about this? What are your thoughts on it? we'll follow, obviously, more to come. The governor has not given his side of the story. I don't know if there is a side to say. Right, they falsified the report saying Ronald Greene died from a car accident, but you clearly saw in that video Greene was still alive. You saw that the autopsy report, and you listened to the news report like I did, said it was a homicide. Now, when there's an open case, the governor, of course, can't get involved. Elected officials tend not to get involved or shouldn't because, if it's an open case, they want to remain uh, hands off. However, they could still say, keep me monitored and posted on a situation. But if he knew that the police, his state police, was giving false information about a crime that occurred, that his police officers acted inappropriately and illegally, he should have immediately called out the police officers and had them fired. And to answer your question, Darius, no, the Attorney General is not appointed by the governor. The Attorney General is elected. The Attorney General that we have, Jeff Landry, he is not an appointee of John Bel Edwards. He is not an appointee. He's a staunch Republican, actually, from St. Martinville. And I have to say this. And I have to say this, though, I would agree with an inquiry into this, a full inquiry. And if it's proven that he did what he did, that he knew this, then yeah, he needs to go. Absolutely, Danielle, he needs to go. He said Odene should be held accountable. Well, I'm holding you accountable, Governor Edwards. I hold Governor Edwards accountable. If he knew more than what was being reported, he absolutely should step down and be investigated if there are any criminal charges. But I doubt that that will happen. Yeah. Jeez. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. So finally, guys, because I'm about to get up out of here, but I want to talk about, and this is a lighter subject, the Janet Jackson documentary that aired on Lifetime this past weekend. Now, me personally, I don't like Lifetime. You all know that. I have my issues with Lifetime is part of Viacom, and so that family with the surviving R. Kelly and stuff. I don't normally watch it, but I wanted to check it out because I was very interested in learning about Janet Jackson. Of course, we know how she started, being that she is the little sister of Michael and the Jackson Five, Randy's little sister, and all of them, the youngest of the Jackson family. And we knew how she started, but we didn't know so much things that were going on. And most people, I think, were trying to watch it so they could see what her thoughts are on certain subjects, things that were saying about her, like her marriage to the James DeBarge, her relationship with Jermaine Dupri, and most importantly, what happened to the in the Super Bowl. Yeah, well, actually, it's called being an accessory after the fact. Well, I know that. Yeah, Jade. Lifetime is owned. That's correct. Lifetime is owned by Walt Disney and the Hearst Company, but Hearst actually owns A&E, or had a ownership in A&E at one point. And I've told you all about this. The Hearst Communications Company has been around since the 1800s. That's how old they are. And William Randolph Hearst was the patriarch of all of that. But nevertheless, yeah. And I talk in I won't give away too much, but that is mentioned in my book. So I'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, but the also what I learned though too is the relationship. It's still suspect, exactly. The relationship between Janet Jackson and her father Joseph. How he didn't allow them to call her dad. For her to allow him to call him dad or any of the other kids. And they mentions a couple of things, and one of I think Joe Jackson's secretary also was in the documentary, talking about how Joe had sacrificed his fatherhood to get his kids, uh, where they are today. And she said that she wished that Janet had gotten a chance to know the real Joseph. Well, let me just say this about Joe Jackson. Uh, Joe Jackson created, obviously, the greatest boy band, greatest boy group, teenage bubblegum soul group in history. Without him, I don't think you would have New Edition or Troop, Boys to Men, a bunch of other R&B groups who I'm trying to think of. I can't. The Silvers, although they came out around the same time, but he made that possible. They give Berry Gordy, I'm not Berry Gordy. They remember Jackson Five. The Jackson Five's first album on Motown was Diana Ross presents the Jackson Five, and in reality, it was Bobby Taylor and Gladys Knight that got the Jackson Five to audition for Motown. But in truthfulness, the person who discovered the Jackson Five was Joe and Catherine Jackson, and Joe in particular. He was the driving force, and Janet gave her father that credit. Randy gave his father that credit in the documentary. It was good to see him as well. I think Randy and Janet are very close with each other, to say the least, because I believe they were like the last of the kids born, and Randy came around when the Jackson Five. He was a young boy when the Jackson Fives were taking off. But Joe Jackson, he gets criticized a lot, but he did some great things. And he was no different, I believe, than any other father, a black father, than Richard Williams was. Look what Richard Williams did with Venus and Serena. Look what Tiger Woods' dad, Eldrick Woods, did with Tiger. Those men who are successful, those women, they all had a father in their lives that was a driving force. And shout out to Harvey and Nicole, because I saw him earlier, but Harvey said this in his video. Nobody talks about the Bee Gees' dad or the Osmonds' dad. Hell, or the DeBarge dad. And the DeBarge dad, when we talk about abusive, he actually flat out, by definition, abused his kids. I mean, he molested and raped them. That French daddy. But let's not forget also, look at Bing Crosby. Two of his kids committed suicide. Now, one of my biggest issues, though, nevertheless, I like that aspect of it, that they did give Joe Jackson his shine. They showed some footage from never before seen footage of Janet performing, working in the studio, which was something I like. Now, I can't obviously show the video because there's copyright issues, but if you saw it, that was actually my highlight, was to see Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, how they developed songs with Janet Jackson, the creative process. One of my favorite, I don't know if y'all like that part, but I like the story that Jimmy Jam is talking about, how they're in studio when they're doing Scream, and you saw Michael singing Scream, putting his vocals down for Scream, I'm died in your game, baby. When Mike started to get the James Brown syndrome around that time, you couldn't understand what he was singing no more. So, but yeah, and I like that aspect of it, because you actually saw how Janet and there was obviously a cameraman that was documenting everything back in the 90s when they made Scream, and how they came up with it, and how Michael went over his lyrics with Janet, and Janet is sitting at the computer writing her lyrics. No, no one talks about that. No one talks about Bing Crosby. Now, speaking of which, but yeah, and I didn't remember. Now I was born in '86, so by that time Janet already had Control out, so I don't remember that like talking about it. I do remember Rhythm Nation. I didn't know, and this was another thing I liked about this was that Rhythm Nation actually broke in. Jimmy Jam mentioned this, or Terry Lewis, one of them too. They all look like all wear the same thing. Now I didn't know this, but Rhythm Nation actually broke one of Thriller's records, which is that uh, it had seven #1 songs on that album, 7 straight, whereas Thriller had, I believe, 5. So it actually broke, from what he was saying, uh, Thriller's record. So she stepped out of her brother's shadow with that album. Control was her. It was like her. I wouldn't say it's a sophomore album, but that was her first album. By that time, she was seasoned because she had recorded before, but she got to work with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis specifically, and they trained her to work a certain way, how they worked that Minneapolis sound that they had. You know, they were able to churn out hits with that. So you saw the creative process, and even during one of the release of the song before the album was released, how they would fight with each other. As an amateur songwriter myself, as a songwriter, I love to watch that because you see the creative process going through and how you have these gods of music, or these what's up, Jennifer? These guys, these great thinkers, you met these two hit songwriters and this dynamic performer come together when they're trying to make music, and they have difference in opinion on how things will go. Three different egos going off, and so I like seeing that aspect of it because a lot of that is true, especially when you have collaborators. You're not all going to agree on the same thing. So she even said how at the end they came to an understanding on certain stuff. So I like that. I like the fact that her family was mentioned in it. She went back to Gary, Indiana. You saw where they slept at. That was some points of it. Now, another point, last point I want to talk about is uh, she didn't hold back a great deal on some things in her personal life that I like. She actually had the highest. She was actually at one point the highest paid female vocalist, entertainer. She was making she signed with Virgin Records after Rhythm Nation for about $50 million, which was huge. When she left A&M for Richard Branson's Virgin Records, I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that either, but sister was getting that paper. Now, let me tell you what I didn't like. My main thing, and it's all no disrespect to Janet, but one of the main things I didn't like, ladies and gentlemen, is everybody wanted to know what happened with that child that she had with James DeBarge allegedly, and she cleared that up. There was no child, and obviously, I don't think if she had a child, she would have hid that like that, especially from how long it took, how busy her schedule was. She was on American Bandstand and she was on Fame, for goodness sakes. She talked about the drug abuse that her husband's had and the child abuse allegations with Michael. Now, that's something I didn't like. One thing I didn't like is, and this is not a shot at her or the documentary, but I learned she had a deal with Coca-Cola that was removed because the abuse allegations that were levied against Mike. I didn't know that. But it didn't surprise me because at that time, you know, and remember, Michael had a deal with Pepsi, and I believe dropped him because his thing with Pepsi was from back in the 80s. His deal with Pepsi lasted all the way into the 1980s. From the 1980s up until about 93. Because remember, he was doing those commercials with him as young Michael Jackson, where he's playing the piano, singing "I'll Be There." And that was at the point where they actually thought he was going to have a white kid play him in a commercial, which he went on Oprah and said, absolutely not. That's not true. Now, what I didn't like when she says guilt by association, I didn't like the fact that she just didn't call it out, which was it was racism. But I understand, you know, they don't say too much. She's, you know, she's maybe not trying to rock the boat. But, you know, remember Janet Jackson, and it's not a shot against the Jackson family. She grew up very secluded. Michael Jackson, too. They were all secluded. They didn't go out. You know, they did, of course, go out in the world, but they didn't have anywhere that they could go where they had their privacy. And I think on some stuff, they were very naive to, even Mike. Let's just be real, because normally, yeah, I know he was doing great things with charity work, bringing people into his home, and I get what he was doing. But at some point, he's also got to know, yo, you're in the entertainment industry. People get set up all the time. You ought to come out and say, you ought to be more careful with what you do and who you hang out with. They didn't do that. And have they been mute on it? You know, when Michael got accused that last time when he went to trial, his father actually did an interview with 60 Minutes. His mother and his mother and said it was racist. His father said it was racism. He spoke out. Jermaine from time to time would speak out on stuff and defend his brother around that time. He did that. But traditionally, like and Michael did call out Tommy Mottola, and a lot of people were shocked when he did that because Mike has always been quiet. And I'm being real, I never heard him speak out on racism in the industry like talking about it. And I remember when BET Tonight had Nelly on their show, I think it was Ed Gordon or Tavis Smiley, one of the two. It might have been Tavis before he got fired by BET, but even Nelly was criticizing Mike, like, Mike, why are you saying this stuff now? I didn't like the fact that she didn't mention Molesta Moonves. Let's get to that. You're absolutely right. Molesta Moonves, who does own Viacom CBS, who is part of, who did everything to silence her. And then I didn't like this part, but Janet said that she and Justin Timberlake are good friends after the Super Bowl scandal. We've moved on. Now, this is one of the main things I didn't like is she talks about their friendship. She really didn't talk too much about it, about the scandal with the Super Bowl. I wanted to hear more about that because, baby, you got blackballed. Janet, you got blackballed by the industry over this. And, you know, as you get older, when you are a entertainer, and no disrespect, I'm not saying she still can't sell out albums or sell out, I'm sorry, not sell out albums, of course, sell out stadiums, sell millions of albums, which she can still do. And I know when the heartbeat she will. But she's not at the prime or youth of her career at this point. So by that, I'm saying you have nothing to lose. I mean, you got your money, you got everything. Maybe please just call it out and say it, Janet. This was racism, and Justin Timberlake sold her out. I remember when he apologized to the Grammys, threw her under the bus. And remember, I think it was like last year, when Timberlake had to actually apologize to Janet Jackson or apologize for his role in that. So Black Twitter let him have it. So I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, it was this last year. He apologized to Britney Spears and Janet Jackson. And I'm not going to sit here and say that nobody can be forgiven. You can't move on from stuff, because it is good to move on from stuff. It's good to not harbor on things that affect you, because you need to move on, and you don't ask for forgiveness or forgive people because you're co-signing what they did, but you do it to not go ahead and dwell on it, because it takes away energy from you. So he apologized to Janet, and he apologized to Janet and Britney Spears. So he released that statement. She bore the brunt of the criticism, while Timberlake, who was the one who pulled back her garment, managed largely to dodge responsibility and went on to become one of the world's biggest music stars in the following years, even returned as a Super Bowl halftime performer in 2018. Yes, I remember that. But heck, I remember even with that, remember, he got to star in a lot of movies. He starred in, Timberlake was starring in movies with, I remember he did a movie with Bruce Willis. I can't think of the name. It came out in 2006, but he played, he was a drug dealer. Remember, he did movies with Mila Kunis. He did White Snake Moan with Samuel Jackson and Christina Ricci. So he had a career, and Our Sisters was cut short. So he did apologize to her, but by the apologies, by that time the damage was done. He apologized 3 years later, and you can see his message there. I've seen the messages, tags, and comments and concern, and I want to respond. I'm deeply sorry for the times in my life where my actions contributed to the problem, where I spoke out of turn or did not speak up for what was right. I understand that I fell short in these moments and in many others, and benefited from a system that condones misogyny and racism. So Janet Jackson, and this was another thing, she urged Timberlake not to make a statement about Super Bowl incident and other revelations from her documentary. Now, I didn't even, when that happened, let's go back to Tittygate. Let's see if we can see this. Now, some people saw it tear off, but I couldn't even see it when it happened. It was so quick. I'd have been aggressive with it. Yeah. Now look at this. Super Bowl producer felt betrayed. I just clicked on it, by Janet. It's loading. Yeah. Moonves was the CEO of CBS at that time. He was actually making more. He was a very wealthy man, very powerful. It's funny they talk about Cosby having all this power, and I know that hit piece is out right now that Camus Bell did, but Moonves damn operated a network based. Yeah, you're right. Moonves was not the owner of CBS. He was he was the CEO. Basically, he was the president of CBS. Essentially, what Brandon Turnikoff was for NBC. So yeah, the Super Bowl producer felt betrayed by Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, but we know that it was Justin Timberlake who did not bear the brunt of it. It was Janet Jackson who bore the brunt of criticism. I remember when she was actually supposed to play Lena Horne in a documentary, in a movie actually, and her career was shot as a result of this. She was not able to do that role. I don't even think that came about, because then they were talking about Alicia Keys would play Lena Horne, and then that didn't happen. But guilt by association with her brother, baby, this was racism. What was going on with your brother? When your brother owned and bought that Beatles catalog, I know a lot of people didn't like that. When your brother actually had a deal, I believe in Japan, to do some licensing and so forth, they didn't like that either. But the main thing, guys, that I didn't like about this docuseries, and I thought they missed the ball with this, out of all the men, was that I wanted to know deep down, and I know you all were thinking about this too. I wanted to know about this man. Now I saw her with. Now you all might be thinking I'm talking about Jermaine Dupri. I'm not. Of course, we know what happened with Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine Dupri gave us hope that we could have a woman like that. I want to know, Janet, what happened and why, sister, you didn't talk about this. Come on, Janet, you should tell us if you got the prerogative now. It's my. I wanted to know, did it happen? Was it true? I want to know if this was true. Come on, Bobby Brown. It would make sense since he was the bad boy. Everybody's talking. Why is he got to be out of pocket? If the roles were reversed, I mean, look, we thought Bobby was the one that got Whitney hooked up on drugs, and it wasn't. Whitney was wilder than her. They're both grown adults when that happened. If they did do it, they were consensual. Hey, you got you some. Yeah, the documentary. So I know. I think she was the inspiration for Good Enough on Sunken One. Because if it ain't good enough, good enough, good enough, I work hard. If it ain't good enough, good enough, good enough, I work hard. Have y'all been watching Power Book 2? So that's Bobby and Janet there. They real friendly. So that was, I think this was before the Bobby Brown story aired. Now some people say he lied about it. I don't know about him. I don't know, man. She didn't say it was true or not. She didn't put out a statement. Since Janet and Bobby weren't married, he will never be mentioned by her. Well, Jermaine and Janet were never married either. I mean, look, if it was true, if he did lie and say that, he was sexual with her and they weren't. Yeah, I think that was wrong how you did that. Absolutely. But I was waiting for Janet to say something. Because if somebody portrayed me like that, I would have to comment. I mean, damn, even who was that? Was it Pebbles when that TLC movie came out? She actually put a story out saying that it wasn't true how she stole a girl's money and so forth. Although, I mean, they didn't do right by him either. Why the music industry compared to law, Al Lanier said this once. He said the music industry compared to Las Vegas being run by the mob, the mafia was actually much more humane. They weren't married. Engaged ain't married. Engaged is I'm negotiating the marriage contract. We're prepared to close. Robert Nelson says, I think the family is color struck. The whole family is color struck. That is my opinion. You think that they desire whiteness? I'm just asking. You might be right. Huh? I think Joe did say something about one time about dark skin and something like that. I don't want to misquote Mr. Jackson because that was a long time ago, but something Tariq Nasheed was saying, I remember distinctly something Joe had said. I've always, I do know that she was okay. I do remember she did kiss Tupac. Yeah, I like that part in the documentary as well. But something they don't mention is that Janet, and I didn't hear this in the documentary. Janet wanted Tupac to take an AIDS test. They weren't even having sex. She just wanted him to get an AIDS test before she kissed him, and he said, "I'll take the AIDS test if I could hit it first." If I get to hit it, yeah, I'm gonna take the AIDS test. Jermaine Dupri, no, Jermaine Dupri is a Mogwai from Gremlins. Don't let him near water. But hey, Jermaine Dupri, that's my man. Jermaine Dupri, he had some bangings back in the 90s. He was responsible for the Brat, Bow Wow, Criss Cross, bunch of people. Anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap this up because I know it's getting a little late. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you love this channel, if you love the platform, and I'm just reading some comments. If you love the channel, also thank you, Darius from Atlanta. Please donate to the Cash App. You see the link at the bottom there. If you would like the links to the Cash App, Gavin Richard Esquire, Google Pay, and PayPal. If you would like to advertise with our channel, you can hit me up in that email, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rate. Subscribe to our Patreon as well, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have a video. I'm going to have to drop some videos on there this week. I'm actually going to do, I know, what's up, Jade? Jade, I just got your email. Let me just update you all about the book because I've been doing a lot of advertising for it, and a lot of you are wondering what's happened right now. Because legal went through it, there are some final edits and editing now that has to take place that I have to clear. So I'm going through that and doing that as well. So I certainly will have this book ready and available for pre-order soon once I take care and finish that. Yeah, I could get Bishop Scott and Judge Joe on. That would be fire. Although I think, don't mention Michael Jackson around Judge Joe Brown. Because if you do, you all know he does not support Michael at all. So we're not going to talk Jackson 5. We're not going to talk that. Yes, I'm always working on some cases. I have some cases that are open, so that takes up part of my time as well. But yeah, but definitely the book is being worked on as we speak, so don't worry about that. But in the meantime, though, if you want any updates about the book, ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you to go to the Facebook page. That way, and when the book is released, we plan on doing a virtual party with everyone. You all will be invited, a virtual party where we'll talk about the book. What were my reasons for doing it? Just sharing a lot of information on it. So please go to the Facebook page at Commonwealth Cause. You got me right there. You don't want to see me. Well, you do want to see me, but that's the Facebook page right there at Commonwealth Cause, at Commonwealth Cause, ladies and gentlemen. So if you all want, just hit that like button, go to at Commonwealth Cause, and you can go ahead and get updates. I will be doing a review this week on that hit piece that Kamu Bell had, and we'll go ahead and talk about that. What's Joe's beef with Michael? I mean, I don't think they have a beef anymore. They're dead. I also want you to, Butterflies, you don't have a Facebook account. Well, I'm going to go ahead probably and launch a, if you don't have a Facebook account, Butterflies, we may have to do an IG page for it too as well. So that will be coming shortly and soon as well. So as we're finishing that up. So last but not least, go to my website, Nani's Creole Blends, our family website, Nani'sCreoleBlends.com for Creole seasoning. Ladies and gentlemen, try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nani's goes great with every dish. No, there's nothing. You don't want to mention Al Green, because Al Green ain't nothing but a charlatan who owes me some $4,000. Judge Joe Brown's beef with Mike. Well, he thinks Michael doesn't. I can't speak for the judge. You'd have to ask him. But just from my talkings with him, is he doesn't like the fact that Michael was not. He's not pro-mask. He gives. Michael is not, I guess, what you would call a picture book masculine man, according to the judge, and he specifically believes that Michael was he certainly believes Mike was a pedophile, even though he was acquitted. He'll say, I don't care, he did it. Like I said, I don't always agree with the judge. I respect the judge, but I don't always agree with him. So that's Nani'sCreoleBlends.com. Thank you, Butterflies, because you had some too and you enjoy it. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nani's goes great with every dish. And just click that little shopping cart there. Continue shopping to order you some seasoning, ladies and gentlemen. Also, we have on Spotify and Apple, we have Video Soul, which is my latest one of the latest singles we have on the G Rich moniker on our Spotify page. So you all might want to go check that out. Get you some good old listen to some good old music. It's good to jam to while you're cleaning the house. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, since we have gotten on down, it is now time to get on up, which is the theme song for our channel. As always, I want you all to be safe. Have a great weekend. We will be back Tuesday. Subscribe to that Facebook page at Commonwealth Cause, ladies and gentlemen. Book will be released soon. So take care, guys. Have a blessed one. And I will see you in the next one. I'll holla. Peace.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop, I'll do the bunny hop, baby. It's really you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up,
baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.